always need to store your projects, and of course there's lots of ideas how you can do that, but let me show you a few ways that I do it. I store some of my projects that I'm currently working on most of the time in my sewing room. I do store a couple others, but you always have, or I do anyway, and hopefully I'm not the only one, who always has a few unfinished projects that you've started and you know it's going to be a while before you get back to it, even if you plan to get back to it. So I actually store those in totes like what I have here. I have a whole stack here, and I actually don't keep these in my sewing room. I brought them out so you could see them. But I keep them in another room where I have some other projects stored. And I have a whole stack here, and I have more in there, so I have a lot to keep me busy. I won't run out of things to do, I'm sure. But the projects that I store in my sewing room, I do have a larger tote that I keep some of those in, but I keep a lot of them in these boxes right here. And I want you to take kind of a close look at this. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you can see it a little closer. But look at this and try to imagine it without the fabric on it. And it is actually a pizza box. And all I have done is covered it with fabric. You can see the inside, you can still see the cardboard, but the outside is completely covered with fabric. These make excellent boxes for storing fabric or projects. It keeps your things flat. The cardboard boxes allow you to stack them if you need to on shelves or on top of bookcases, on the end of your table. They really, really work great. They're only about 1.5 to 2 inches high, so they don't have a whole lot of storage space in them, but they're about 16 inches square. So they work great for storing 15, 12, 14-inch blocks, borders, bindings that you've cut and are just storing, anything like that. They really, really work great for that. It's really handy to have those. And I have some of my projects in there. One of these I have potato bag supplies, and potato bags are something that I'm always making off and on. And so I keep all my little parts and pieces and loops and pieces that I need in one of these, and I have some of the things there if I need to make one for a gift really quickly or something like that. So these boxes I actually keep on the top of my fabric bookcases, so they're pretty easy to get to, but they're easy to stack and to see up there. So I would really recommend that if you haven't tried using pizza boxes in your sewing room, that you go and do that. You can go to your local Pizza Hut and ask them for a large pizza box or a couple. You could do a medium or small size too, but the large gives you a lot more room. And then cover those with fabric. And you can look at my directions and see how I cover those, a quick way to cover those pizza boxes. But it's really kind of fun, and they really make for great storage. And especially if you're wanting to carry some things back and forth to class, they really work great. What I have stored in these totes are a lot of my unfinished projects. Some of them are halfway done, some of them are different stages. A lot of these are projects that I have done or halfway completed for a lot of embroidery club classes I have been teaching, and I have things in different stages, and so I end up having multiple samples of one particular technique. So let's look inside this first one, and this one is actually labeled Pillow Shams, and I did a class on this one time. And what I have inside here are templates. I created a different kind of pillow sham, and the templates there that I made that with are there. These are for the little side pieces. So I have my templates that I would need for those. I have my directions inside. I also have the little embroidery sheet that I used for the embroidery designs that I used. I have my little thread chart is on the back. It's in a little sheet protector. And so I have that with it. That's probably a duplicate copy from what I have in my notebooks of thread charts. And so also inside here I have all my little parts and pieces of my pillow shams. And you can see I have some of them that are actually halfway done. This one actually has the embroidery and decorative stitches around it. This one doesn't even have the embroidery on it. And this one here doesn't have the decorative stitches or the batting. So I have things that are in multiple stages, but it wouldn't take much longer to finish this. So I have all those parts and pieces in here, and it would be very easy for me to go pick up this tote and to start stitching those pillow shams. And I have my directions there, my templates if I need them. I know what design I used. It's all right there. I can pick that up and start working on it instead of having to go back and find all the parts and pieces for that and spend time doing that instead of actually sewing. So I really like to keep different projects in, these are about 6-inch high totes, and they're clear. I have them labeled. This one has Christmas tree Christmas tree skirts. This one has quick and easy tote bags, embroidered paper piecing, chalkboard message boards, and sometimes one project won't completely fill up the other totes, so to fill up the rest of the space, I sometimes will put 2 or 3 projects in one, but they're all kept in there. And so these are really easy. They're easy to pick up and carry. It's not a real big thing, but they work nice to stack. I've got about 7 or 8 stacked here, and it really is a pretty good stack of totes, but it holds up well. So if you were wondering or trying to decide a way to create or to store your unfinished projects, clear plastic totes like this work extremely well. Now, I've shown you how I store a lot of my unfinished projects, and I have to say I do have some finished projects too, so I'm going to show you how I store those. I store a lot of them in pillowcases, and this keeps them pretty nice. Sometimes I will store them in plastic bags if I'm carrying them back and forth, but if I know I'm going to store them for several months, I will stick them in a pillowcase. Some of these, I actually have a bunch of things in here, and this first thing I'm going to pull out is just a simple wall hanging, and it's just about a 16 inch square. So I actually, if at all possible, try to lay my smaller projects flat. In this pillowcase, it lays flat inside there. The other thing that you need to think about is this one has a photo printed in the center of it. So if you would have to fold this up, if it was larger and you needed to fold it up, you probably wouldn't want to fold right along that photo. You would more like want to fold it in thirds like that to protect that photo and then stick it in there. So if all possible, try to make your projects lay as flat as you can. And when you can't, try to fold on the less delicate areas. This is another project that is inside, but it's small enough that I can also lay it flat when it's in there. I'm going to pull out a pillow sham here, and this is actually a latte pillow sham. You can see that this one was obviously bigger than what will fit in that pillow sham, so what I've done is just started at one end and just rolled it. And that way you're not folding on the edge on your embroidery or embellished areas. If you kind of roll that, that is a little bit more delicate on your fabric and your embroidery, and it's going to protect it more. Take your embroidered areas or your embellished areas, roll them to the inside, and that's going to even protect it more. So now my friction or anything that I rub it against is the back side of my pillow sham instead of the front side. When it's rolled up, then I can stick it inside that pillow sham. Here is another something, and this one, the same thing, is rolled up. This one has, again, pictures printed on fabric for this project, and again, you want to roll it up so that you're not going to create any stress or any ridges on those photos. After all, you've put that much work into it, and so you want to protect it the best way that you can. So a good method of storing your finished projects is to put them in pillow shams, roll them if you can. Sometimes if you have a huge quilt, obviously you're going to need a big pillow sham, and that's all you're going to fit inside of it. If you have smaller projects, you can usually get several projects inside one pillow sham. The other idea is with your quilts or whatever you've made, make a pillow sham out of that same coordinating fabric, and you have a nice little set to keep all your finished projects in.